Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Total Dental webinar on cloud-based dental software. And today we're going to be talking about overcoming 3 problems facing dentists. This webinar series is designed to help you tackle some of the day-to-day problems that most dentists face, and so that you can maximize your business process efficiency and hopefully contribute positively to your bottom line. Increasingly, the dental world is changing and bringing new challenges to small practices. More than ever before, in order to stay ahead of your competition and provide the best tools for your team, you need to rethink your technology options. And what does that look like for your practice? What new advances, what new types of systems, whether they're dental practice management software, imaging, OSHA compliance, HIPAA compliance, what are the new technological advances that can help make my practice better? Well, like a cracked tooth, the dental practice management software industry is broken, and unfortunately has been for a while. The dental software of yesterday often does not meet the patient security guidelines of today, nor does it allow for easy remote access. And all of this while costs continue to rise. So today you're paying more and getting less in terms of what the market is offering and what the market is bearing for the dental software that's out there, and how it can have a positive impact on your business. You want to be protected, and you want to be compliant, and you want to be able to provide the utmost in patient quality and care, while at the same time, as a business owner, make sure that you are still getting a good return on your investment, making money, and that your staff is using efficient and easy processes. We've worked with over 6,000 practices across the country, and some of the common practice data mistakes that we see quite often are things like sharing passwords. So it is, a very important part of your HIPAA compliance guidelines that for any practice you are using, regardless of your technology or software system, that every user has their own unique password and their own unique username. This is important because it makes sure that you're protecting the patient health information, that only authorized individuals have access to that patient health data, and that they are not sharing passwords among office members. What this means from a day-to-day perspective is that each dentist should have their own username and password, each hygienist, each front office person, each back office person. Another common mistake that we see quite often is when a person has a password, a unique username and password, but they're using a very weak password. So some guidelines to put together a strong password is that you want it to be at least 7 characters in length, contain upper and lowercase letters, contain at least 1 symbol or number or both. And an example of that could be "for happy sailors" hashtag. You want to make sure that you're not using things like the first name and last name, or the same username that you sign into the software, dates of birth, or like April 2016. Those are not good passwords, and they're not strong because those are things that people can easily figure out. Another common practice data mistake is not using or not updating antivirus software. So a lot of you that are on install or server-based programs, antivirus software is extremely important for you, because that's one of the things that helps protect your system being hacked, or from getting a virus and from having issues with that. So whether it's a firewall or an antivirus setup, you want to make sure that you are using something to protect your network and to protect each machine. Also, you want to make sure that you have some sort of update policy. So are these manual updates, automatic updates? Are they done weekly? Are they done monthly? Are they done quarterly? So that you can try to maintain some semblance of being protected and having the most up-to-date antivirus software. And then finally, one of the things we see quite a bit is practices that are missing written data encryption processes. So when it's time to transfer patient information electronically, do you have a written policy in place to transfer that data? And what does that look like? Are they using that encryption process? It's one thing to have one in place, but if they're not using it, then it's not helping your practice maintain compliance, and could subject you to future audits and fines. All patient data and security policies need to be in writing. This includes the required annual security risk analysis that each and every practice should have, whether you're dental or medical. And that is a HIPAA requirement for all medical and dental practices, and one that a copy of it should be at your front desk. So Once you're done with this webinar, that's one of the first things you should check is to see if you have a security risk analysis completed that has to be dated within the last 12 months. And if you don't have a copy of that at the front desk, that's one of the most common ways that a dental practice fails a HIPAA security audit. Another common practice data mistake is using paper charts. So even when you have dental software, we have learned that about 30% of practices using dental software are still also using paper charts. The problem with paper charts from a security and technology perspective is that they're really easy to walk out the door with. They're also easy for simple mistakes like just leaving them on the checkout desk where another patient has access to protected health information. They're easy to lose, they're easy to destroy, they're easy to lie around so that people who shouldn't have access to them have access. So paper charts in this day and age are a key indicator that you're not using the right technology systems in your practice, or one that would give you that security and confidence that you need to become a paperless office. Another common data mistake is relying on a manual backup system. So if you are having to do zip drives or tape backups or some sort of mirror server type backup where you're saving everything to a removable hard drive to take out of your office, those manual backup systems cause a lot of problems from our dental practices from a security perspective. A lot of times they aren't tested, so a lot of dental offices are not even certain that the backups they're relying on work. A lot of times they're using a third party, so it's just a very expensive process. And then also, sometimes they're just relying on the office manager or the dental practice owner to take the tape backup home every week or every Friday or every day. And there's some lack of discipline when it comes to rotating those tapes. Are you changing it every week? Are you changing it every month? If there is a data loss, how many days are you going to be missing from your data? And also, a lot of times there's a good process in place, but there's not a lot of good security, and it's not HIPAA compliant because you're taking the tape backup system and leaving it in your car, or you're leaving it at the home office. It's not locked in a secure offsite place so that you can protect yourself from loss or theft, or just having it accessed by someone who has no authority to get into your protected patient health information. Another data mistake that causes a lot of issues for our clients is folks who store data on laptops, computers, mobile devices, things that can be easily stolen. Unfortunately, the truth of the matter is most fraud in a dental office is committed by employees. And you may think that, oh, my staff's been with me for years, but the truth of the matter is that it's those long-serving staff members that are often the most guilty of fraud and corrupting the system, because they figured out where the holes are. They figured out how to access information like patient credit card data and not get caught, or how to make adjustments to the day sheet that puts some extra cash in their pocket. So be certain that you're not storing protected health information on laptops, computers, and mobile devices that can easily be taken out of your office. So you want to make sure that your staff training is up to date, that they're current on all patient security guidelines. So let's talk about why the industry is so antiquated. So close to 70% of today's dental practices are still using legacy-based systems. What I mean by that is that the dental practice management software that 70% of our offices are using across the country today requires that it be installed on a server in your office. So it's locally based software. These older systems require hands-on backup, expensive hardware, antivirus and firewall protections, constant updates, and they force many practices to continue to pay for overinflated prices for this antiquated technology. So remember when cell phones first came out and they were big and bulky and they were like, $400 a month. Today you can get that same phone that'll fit in your back pocket for less than $40 a month. So that's where that industry has gone. The truth is the dental software industry is still using the clunky big cell phones that cost $400 a month. So we want to help everyone get into the most up-to-date, best technology to manage your business more efficiently. What's next? So according to Mike Uritz, who is with Dental Software Advisor, the next generation dental software, including electronic health records or EHR, are quickly changing the landscape for dental practices. You want to make sure that your electronic health record that you choose has some of the HIPAA security rules specifically designed for EHRs. So those specific measures are there to safeguard your electronic protected health information and ensure that it's confidential, a certain degree of integrity, and that it's safe. So if you're using a certified electronic health record, you can be certain that from at least a technology perspective, you're meeting those basic HIPAA requirements. Some of the built-in electronic health record safety measures that are there to protect you include access control tools like passwords, PIN numbers, the ability to limit access to your patient information to only the authorized individuals, also the ability to limit that information during certain business hours so that you don't have a staff member who's accessing the system on a Sunday afternoon just digging for information that they really shouldn't be. And then also an electronic health record system is already certified with the ability to encrypt the stored information. That means that health information cannot be read or understood except by someone who can decrypt it using a special key made available only to authorized individuals. So there's HL7 standards and technology that's used in most of the electronic health record systems, and those types of special features allow you to have a certain degree of confidence that your system is secure and safe and that your patient health information is protected. Another area of concern that you want to look at is the rising costs of server-based dental software. So Mr. Henry to the right in my picture here is, happy and ecstatic because he's making tons of money off the dental industry. He's an expensive IT consultant. So every time your system stops working or breaks down or you have a data loss, you're panicking and you're urgent because you can't work and you're calling Mr. Henry to come out and fix your expensive IT problem. There's also system failures that result in lost revenue outside of the expensive repair. Hopefully those are few and far between, but when you experience one of those, they can be catastrophic, particularly to a small dental office. There's additional costs to back up your data, whether you're doing it yourself and using a removable hard drive or you're paying a specific third-party IT company to do it for you. There's additional costs that are associated with those services. There's the added expense to purchase servers that store your data. These servers can be several $1,000s in and of themselves. And the thing about a server is that, usually that technology is only good for 2 or 3 years and then you have to replace it. If you haven't replaced your servers in the last 3 years, you probably want to have someone evaluate your current IT setup and system because there's a chance that it's outdated and that a lot of the security you might have thought you had purchased 3 years ago is no longer valid. Failure to update is a huge cost because, once again, without those updates and protections in place, you're opening yourself up to potential audits and fines, system failure. And then, of course, those possible HIPAA fines that I mentioned from noncompliance. One thing I'll note here that the whole world of HIPAA has changed the last couple of years. So you used to have a complaint from a patient that there's been a HIPAA violation or that they felt like their protected health information wasn't being handled carefully. That all changed in the last couple of years. Today, you can experience a HIPAA audit for no reason that you were just randomly selected. There doesn't have to be a complaint. That doesn't have to mean you've done anything wrong, but you could be selected for a HIPAA audit just by luck of the draw because they now have been given the ability by the U.S. government to do random HIPAA audits even if no complaint has ever been made. According to CostAl.com, for locally hosted software, small practices with just one single user can expect to spend anywhere from $1,500 to $10,000. That typically includes the cost of setup, training, support, and if you get additional features like EMR, meaningful use, billing, third-party reminders, those systems cost more in the neighborhood of $15,000 just to get started. Larger practices with multiple users can spend in the tens of thousands of dollars. We've had practices who spent anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 up front just to get an install-based software because oftentimes you're paying that separate $10,000 or $15,000 fee per location. More often than not, these fees do not include things like electronic prescriptions, third-party add-ons, maintenance, updates, that kind of stuff. So one of the things you should ask about your current software system is how many clicks does it take to get your job done? I always like to think about that old Tootsie Roll commercial with how many licks does it take to get to the center of the Tootsie Pop. So many of the server-based systems are programs built on technology that's more than 25 years old. So they can be awfully cumbersome. Even if you're using the latest version, it still may take 7, 8, 9 clicks to do one simple job. So here's an example that we hear a lot from our clients, where you have an account in one of these old server legacy-based software systems, and let's say there's been a divorce, or let's say one of the children has now aged out and as an adult has their own insurance and wants to set up their own account. So separating a family into independent accounts when they divorce or when they age out is something that can be quite challenging in some of the server-based systems. Instead of the ability to just click a button and create a new account, a lot of times you have to create a ghost account, you have to make a fake copy and then redo it, and then it's just a very several step process just to get an adult child or a divorced couple into separate family accounts. You know, today we live in a world where people expect 24/7 response in patient care. Everybody has access to information at the touch of a button, and they're starting to expect that same level of service from the dental community. Patients want to be able to get prescriptions on the weekend if they're having a problem, such as an abscess or need emergency care, have access to their patient information if they need it sent somewhere. Let's say they're on vacation and in an accident and have chipped a tooth. And you know, wouldn't you like to be able to do that safely from your smartphone, from your home office, from your tablet, regardless of where you are, without having to stop everything you're doing and go into the office and pull the patient record, or, which can be even worse, try to remote connect into a server that, you know, is taking forever to access, or you can only see limited parts of the information. And I think that this is a demand that's only going to continue to grow. We are now raising an entire generation of future patients who are used to getting everything at the click of a button. So the minute that your office can't accommodate that, especially with this generation, you're going to start losing patients and losing revenue. So why are dental practices suffering? With all we've talked about, these three common problems, you've got security challenges with antiquated systems that are less secure, that make concerns grow for HIPAA and meaningful use. You've got rising costs for these technology issues, for backups, IT experts, hardware, implementation, additional software, maintenance fees, updates, all of those things that are making it quite expensive. And that's even if you're, you know, not necessarily on the latest and greatest product. And then you've got the fact that the products you do have, whether they're updated or not, can be clunky and often have limited access. So daily functions taking 8 or 9 clicks instead of 1 or 2, like the next generation EHR systems, are making your office less efficient. And then you have access challenges for after hours and emergency patient care, which are really going to start affecting the response time and the quality that your patients are expecting these days. The good news is that we have a solution. Total Dental answers all of these challenges, and it's what's next. So let's talk about how Total Dental is different than some of the technology platforms that are out there today. So it is secure and certified. We are HIPAA compliant. We are 2014 Meaningful Use certified, and that means we have been tested and approved by an independent government authorized third party. These were extensive tests where we had to show our HIPAA security, where we had to prove that data is encrypted, where we had to show how we can securely transfer patient health information from one system to another and still be HIPAA compliant and safe and efficient. Total Dental is cloud-based. So that means no more backups, free updates, free maintenance, 24/7 anytime access, all for one low monthly subscription, which gives you the ability to control costs and keep you on the latest technology at all times. So you don't pay for additional versions or additional updates of Total Dental. When you're on a cloud-based system, those updates are free when they come into the software. And finally, it's sleek and simple. So our state-of-the-art tooth and perio charting is nothing like the industry's seen before. But we also didn't forget the daily grind of those systems where you need to maximize efficiency, like scheduling patients. We're integrated, so it's a one-stop shop for all of your needs. So you've got billing, you've got ERX, you've got recall and recare, you've got patient scheduling, You've got charting. There's no best of breed solution combining 10 or 11 different systems. This is a one-stop shop for everything that your dental practice needs to run a successful business and meet the patient and compliance and technology demands that will keep you successful. So the next step is to take a look. Take a look at Total Dental. You can register for a demo. We offer those quite frequently during the week. It'll give you an overview of the Total Dental system and give you an idea of how we can answer some of these common security and patient data problems that your office may be experiencing, and just give you one additional level of compliance and security and efficiency, all the while being an affordable product for your practice that gives you everything you need to replace that clunky, chunky, old, antiquated technology that you might have been using for 20 years but is not necessarily the best system for your office to be on today.